Every crisis that happens in our lives reveals something about ourselves, and as I think about the COVID, one of the things I'm becoming aware of is that how I'm responding to it, reacting to it, perceiving it has to do with many factors that are internal more than external. And so, beyond the COVID factor, there are many other factors that contribute to my responsiveness and also my reaction to everything that is happening. My name is Paps Wanyuki, your partner in creating the life you desire and deserve, even through the crisis. Because we can always get honey out of the carcass. Video I did last time about staying connected in isolation, and you'll be able to understand this conversation about Samson, the carcass, and the honey. Because every crisis that comes into our lives is not just a time to understand the crisis, but more so to understand ourselves and to grow through the crisis. And so I'm going to discuss 6 things that we can actually discover ourselves as we go through life crisis, including this COVID, including any other thing that will ever happen in our lives. Because you know what? When you go through the floods, when you go through the fire, it doesn't talk about if. And so we're not able to control what happens to us. It's only a matter of when. And when the when comes, we are well prepared because we have been building on our internal resources to cope, to survive, and to thrive through whatever comes our way. So I'm going to run through the 6 things. And number 1, it reveals your experience. It shows that people who have ever gone through life devastating situations before are actually able to handle the subsequent events of life better. And just imagining that there are people who have actually walked through the shadow with the valley of death, or maybe they have gone through the most devastating situations of life, or sometimes you have had someone who went through painful, harrowing experiences of life, sometimes even a sickness, and they were near death. And that one determines how we respond to the crisis in our lives currently, even the COVID situation. Why? Because I'm able to draw back from the experience, the resource of experience I've had before. And so probably if the experience was a positive one, like I came out of it and I won and I was the hero, we might actually be handling this thing with a breeze. But for someone who has ever lost, maybe you lost a relative, maybe you lost someone you loved, maybe you have also lost something major in your life, this can actually be devastating. Can you imagine like a business person who has ever gone through a crisis like this one before and they totally went under? This is actually a scared, threatening experience for them for sure. And then, so if you have ever gone through a situation that was worse than this and you overcame, then you have a very positive mindset as you're going through this. And if you have ever gone through a worst experience and you lost, you're actually fearing more losses right now. So experiences in life determines how we handle crisis. And even right now, as you think about yourself, what is your experience in terms of past devastations and past things that ever happened in your life? Did you feel like it was a loss or it was a win? And for us, it was a loss. It's still a good opportunity to remind ourselves to hope, and to just say that it doesn't have to be that way. I might actually come out better in this one, and to just stay optimistic. And if you have ever won, not also to take it lightly by keeping a mindset that, you know what, I still need to take precaution and do what I need to do even in this one, so that we don't go overconfident, and also we don't go with a loss of confidence as we tackle this one. This also reveals our flexibility, and flexibility is just this simple factor of, do I ride on the tides or do I wait for the tides to subside? Crisis that is ongoing, it's about asking myself, am I feeling stuck? Am I feeling frustrated, or am I feeling curious, and seeing what will come out of this? Those are just flexibility attitudes. Whether we find new ways of doing life or we get paralyzed by the life situations, is that things will never go back to normal. Not at least the way we knew it, not at least how everything was. Why? Because with every tragedy comes a new normal, and everything will be normal but in a new way. When we go back to life, everything will be totally different. And so by being flexible, it means that I'll be able to adapt to every new change that I will find out there in future. The other thing that crisis reveals about ourselves is resilience. Our resilience as well. And forget about the IQ, the intelligent quotient. We now have emotional quotient, we have social quotient, and the new kid on the block is adversity quotient. How am I able to bounce back from adversities of life? Destroyed by everything that is happening, or will I bounce back and come back in another form and shape? Quotient is actually a combination of my experience, meaning that everything I've gone through in the past has been sharpening this, and also my flexibility. How am I able to handle the two? Those are actually reveals about ourselves is our creativity. One day we will wake up and the storms will have subsided and things will have gone back to stillness and calmness. But the other thing that I'm looking forward to is the major inventions and innovations that will be born out of this. They're being inspired with creativity, with ideas, with solutions, not just for the COVID, but also for many other life issues. Sometimes I just imagine the person who invented something like Zoom. This was the time for breakthrough. By the time we're waking up, his space will be the new normal, and many other people will start inventing similar spaces. And so it's my choice to choose whether I'll be paralyzed by fear, or I will start digging into the oasis of my creativity and just see what can I make out of this. The thing that will also be revealed through this crisis is my faith. I remember the story that Jesus shares about the wise and the foolish builder, and about one who built on the sand and the other one who built on the rock. They had the same resources, copy paste. Just like winds, the rains and the floods came. That is when their houses were tested. And everything we've been professing, everything we've been claiming and believing, everything is being tested in this time. And so my faith is also something that will be revealed during crisis. Where have I been putting my confidence? Mentions, and it is okay. And as I think about experiences,